There's so much going on, and nobody's really talking about it. Everybody's having the same mundane conversation. Nobody's really talking about the legislative process and how it affects you. Nobody's really having a conversation around and how it affects you and your organization. We're really having conversations around finances. Finally live Facebook. And what does that mean for reporting around government contracts? That's where I come in. That's where the Chatter Project is born. I should have made more on Facebook than I anticipated, but well, whatever. Happy New Year's, and let's get this party started. So we have a continuing resolution passed, which funds the government through December. Now, we still have the impending problem of not being able to pay our bills come October. I believe the date is October 18th. They're squabbling over the debt ceiling. And I'm using the term, they've been around for a very long time. They know we have to pay our bills. They know as a country, our has to. That is what they're going to do. A lot of this is educating for the sake of the cameras, grandstanding to make it look like they're putting up the good fight. But at the end of the day, they're going to sit those doors on the phones and come to some sort of gentleman's agreement so that our country does not default and lose our credit rating. So don't think the U.S. will pay its bills. We will not default on our obligations. To that end, the vaccine mandates have gone into effect. What we will begin to see in the contracting world is a whole lot of contract novations. And that is a fancy way of saying contract modifications or addendums being issued. Now, just the sheer number of contracts that are out there, it's going to take a while for that to occur. So it's not going to occur within the first week or so. It's going to take roughly 30 to 60 days for these contract innovations to come through. These innovations are going to outline exactly what the requirements are. And quite frankly, they're still trying to figure it out. I someone say that it wasn't put in writing to keep a legal protest happening. I'm not a lawyer. I don't play one on TV, but even I know that's not true. You can legally protest anything. It does not have to be in writing in order for somebody to take it to court. Actually, you could take it to court the fact that it hadn't been put in writing to get it from being enforceable. So, what I foresee happening is I do know that the new bill that was put forth has increased the fines on businesses from $14,000 to $700,000 per fine or incident, which basically forces companies who do not want to comply with the new regulations. Um, it doesn't matter how you feel about it at this point. I want to say it doesn't matter how you feel about it at this point. I suggest you put your advisors and you get a plan in place. I was suggesting you do that when the announcement was first made 60 days ago, when you had plenty of time to hash it out and roll it out. But for those that did not take that advice, you really need to get in touch with your HR. If you don't have one, you need to hire an advisor, your attorney, and you really need to just hammer out what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, how you're going to roll it out, employees. This is a This requirement isn't going away anytime. Therefore, as a business owner, as government contractors, as steward people that are responsible self for your workforce, you have to comply with this regulation or shutter your business. One of the two. Um, the way I foresee it happening is right now is collecting the data. You're going to secure it in some kind of way to ensure compliance with not only HIPAA, which with not only HIPAA, but you're going to have to ensure if you don't privacy policy, you're going to have to create one. And then you're going to have to create an access policy to ensure that whoever has access to those records is very limited and it needs to know doesn't need to have access to that information. You should have a designated point of contact for that for collecting that information. I know I'm giving you advice, I'm not your coach, but here it is. This is day one of the government fiscal year. These new mandates are out there, and I don't want anybody to be crosshair. If you need, if you really need to talk to somebody, formulating a strategy for tackling this, my calendar link is in the description. Set up a strategy or plan of action for implementing proper policies, going forward, because this is not away any time soon. And quite frankly, with the way the world is changing, there there are certain things that every business owner should have in place. And what we're seeing is an up leveling or an uptick going on, an awareness or a broader awareness of how businesses should be able to pivot on a dime. What happens in the event of, and can your business turn or navigate, and how quickly, and with the proper structures in place, business will falter. But enough about that. We have the government funding, we have RFPs. We have the new FAR clauses that took effect September. We have the requirement RFP going forward. So, and that RFP, and in those RFPs, I believe they said it would be found in Section J and Section L of every RFP issued by DoD from this point forward. And the security requirement basically is your system needs to be tight so that their system is tight. There's the zero trust policy that the government adopted back in 2019 when it was introduced. And they're really hammering down on it. There's been this uptick in malware and cyber attacks on the government. And what they're finding is that they're being attacked through their subcontractors and their contractors. So they're forcing that environment onto primes and subcontractors to secure their systems. To this end, they have implemented implemented a new CMMI of the security requirement. Every prime contract issue. Now, in subcontractors say, well, that doesn't apply to me. Well, according to a webinar that I was on yesterday and the day before, yes, it does, because that requirement is going to be flowed down to all subcontractors. Yes, that is the application of something in government contracting called the Christian doctrine. And the Christian doctrine says whether it is in your subcontracting agreement or not, it is a flow down requirement. Therefore, if it's in the RFP and it strictly states in the RFP that it applies to all contractors performing on this contract, it becomes a flow down requirement, and that means it goes down to the prime through the sub or not. It is flow, and there you have it. So since it's a company right now, and I don't have my notes sitting in front of me, but they have partnered with the SBA to help small businesses navigate this whole process of implementing the new security requirement. I'm actually going to go through the requirement myself so that I can, one, help my clients, and two, kind of report back what it looks like. There's going to be a self-assessment portion of it before you actually go through the official cost portion of it. It's a costly process. I do know a member of I can't think of the man's name. He's a senator. They were discussing ways to make the cost on small businesses for the application and implementation of this new security requirement. However, you, you can include it in your indirect rates. I don't even understand why they're even talking about it. You build it into your indirect rates, and you can apply it to the government that way. You just can't recoup it as a direct cost. And if you don't know what that is, then you need to get on my calendar and have me help you set up your rates with government contracting. There is a way to redeem these costs. Business with DOD, GSA, Department of Homeland Security right now are the three agencies that absolutely have that requirement. I am saying by the end of FY 2023, every government agency is going to have this requirement. So whether you do it now or you do it later, you're going to have implemented something beyond a standard off-the-shelf Norton antivirus security system. If You're just going to have to invest in something better than something that comes standard with your PC. It just is what it is. Stated before, and then I'm going to start it the new government fiscal year. Our yesterday, and I found something very interesting. If you're an IT company or you provide some type of IT service to the government, you may want to consider subcontracting this government fiscal year. And there are more opportunities in the civilian agencies than in DOD this contracting year. That sounds crazy, but that's true. And that is because the government as a whole is redoing their IT system. To that end, the civilian agencies are deplorably behind with modernizing the IT system, which is why you're seeing an uptick in purchasing of IT services over there. Now, I'm going to say something that a lot of people are not going to like, but it's the truth. All of these certifications everybody keep telling you to get, civilian agencies do not do set asides. Certification conversation that people that keep telling you get certified, get certified, get certified, they're not having with you because they fully don't understand it themselves. Everybody's not bound by far, and everybody isn't bound by the set aside requirements. So civilian agencies do not do set asides. So those certifications of the House do not strategy and a solid methodology for going after the contract. That certification is not going to do you any good on the civilian side of contract. And quite frankly, it doesn't guarantee you anything on the DOD side. But that's another conversation for another day. But there's a great uptick of IT purchasing on that side. They are also embedding IT. So there's going to be IT related services in non-IT contracts, which is why I'm saying you should mix in your subcontracting or in your contracting plan. If you want to come up with a discussion around your contract, get on my calendar. Um, this contracting year is going to be a very interesting year. There's some huge initiatives coming out. There's some where they have set us. There are some where small businesses are only going to get in contract. That's just it. From monolithic projects, and with these bigger companies winning as primes, they are going to need to subcontract out, and that is where you're going to come in.